Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting. Islamic State fighters take more territory. Observers say Islamic State captured the last Syrian-controlled border crossing between Syria and Iraq. According to the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, Syrian forces fled the al-Tanaf crossing, giving the militants control of the border. The monitors say Islamic State now controls about half of Syria after seizing the ancient city of Palmyra, putting its irreplaceable 2,000-year-old artifacts at risk of destruction. The U.S. State Department says it does not agree with the Syrian Observatory's estimation that Islamic State controls half of Syria. Islamic State fighters earlier this week seized Ramadi, the capital of Iraq's Anbar province. President Barack Obama designated Tunisia as a major non-NATO ally of the United States, praising its democratic reforms in the aftermath of the 2011 Arab Spring uprising. Mr. Obama met at the White House Thursday with Tunisian President Beji Caid Essebsi. Mr. Essebsi is the first democratically elected leader in Tunisia's 60-year history as an independent nation. Myanmar says it will work to protect members of the country's Rohingya Muslim minority that are risking their lives to flee poverty and persecution in the country. According to a presidential spokesman, President Thein Sein says the government is committed to verifying the nationality of those in need of aid, as well as protecting and assisting Myanmar citizens. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani announced his long-awaited nominee for the post of defense minister. Mr. Ghani chose Masoom Stanekzai for the office. He has served as a minister and security advisor to the former Afghan President Hamid Karzai. This is VOA News. The Ebola epidemic in West Africa is taking a heavy toll on healthcare workers. Lisa Schlein reports.
The World Health Organization report for the first time provides a comprehensive look at the devastating impact of the disease on the already scarce and fragile health workforce in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. The WHO finds the Ebola virus has infected 815 healthcare workers since its onset in January 2014 through the end of March 2015, and that more than 50% are nurses and nurses' aides. It says 2/3 of those infected have died. Lisa Schlein, Geneva.
NATO says extremists may be crossing the Mediterranean Sea in migrant smuggling boats to reach European Union countries. NATO's military commander, U.S. Air Force General Philip Breedlove, says the alliance suspects members of organized crime groups and elements of extremists may be among the legitimate refugees trying to escape fighting and poverty in the Middle East and northern Africa. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe says that both sides of the Ukrainian conflict have been violating the terms of the ceasefire agreement. An OSCE official says that parties in the conflict have continued fighting and used weapons which should have been withdrawn. President Obama's trade agenda scored a major victory Thursday. Senators voted to advance a bill facilitating approval of a massive 12-nation Pacific Rim Free Trade Pact. VOA's Michael Bowman has more.
The 62-38 vote exceeded the 3/5 majority required and all but assures final Senate passage of Trade Promotion Authority, or TPA, for which only a simple majority is required. That vote could come as early as Friday. TPA, also known as Fast Track, would speed approval of the Trans-Pacific Partnership of nations that account for about 40% of global economic output. Michael Bowman, the capital.
Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza says that upcoming parliamentary elections will take place in peace. Speaking on state television late Wednesday, he announced elections will be delayed by a week to June 5th because of recent political violence. On Thursday, demonstrators clashed with police, throwing stones while the officers used tear gas and fired warning shots into the air. The top prosecutor in the eastern U.S. state of Maryland says all 6 officers charged in the police custody death of an African-American man have been indicted by a grand jury. State Attorney Marilyn Mosby said the grand jury found probable cause to formally indict the Baltimore Police Department officers in the arrest of Freddie Gray, who died in April after being injured while in police custody. I'm Ray Kouguell in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.